Hey guys, this is Andy Ramsey here, and I live full time in Perugia as a missionary here, and I'm in charge of the college ministry here in Perugia and the one that we're starting in Urbino. And I also get the privilege of helping out with the missions trips that you guys come on. So I'm doing this video just to kind of set the table for you guys and give you a little bit of the backstory on Perugia and kind of just put in your mind some expectations for your trip in November. This is Perugia. It is a beautiful hill city in the middle of Italy, and it has 30,000 college students at any given time. And that is really where we're focusing on the missions trips, is these college students, because the church has been around for 7 years but hasn't been able to establish a solid and consistent college ministry in the city center. And I think a lot of that can be attributed to geography. If you see, there's our church, and it's a little bit outside of the city center. And so we have to be very intentional about building community and doing outreach in the city center to reach the students. And so the missions trips with Hill City are perfect for that. We've found that bringing Americans in and doing outreach and evangelism, it breaks the ice. The students and young people are very curious and excited to meet Americans, and that creates great opportunities to share the gospel and bring new people into the fold and build the community. So that's what the scope of the 2-month summer team was. We did a lot of outreach, we made friends, and we built traction, and we started a Bible study again in the city center, which is very, very encouraging. So we're praying for great progress in that by the time you guys come in November for your 10-day trip. And on the 10-day trips, really there's two things that you should hope to do. And the first thing, most important, is just to encourage the believers and the missionaries that are already there. And having you guys come, bringing fresh energy, fresh excitement, and just coming to meet the people in the church and connect with them, share your stories, hear their stories. It creates just great fresh air in the church. It's very exciting for them. And it also creates opportunity to create events and parties and get-togethers and worship nights where we can invite our contacts and kind of bring them into our fold in a fun and dynamic and kind of a new way. The second scope is to do outreach and evangelism. So we'll do that in a number of ways on the short-term trip. We'll do some street evangelism, and we'll, like I said, organize parties and events where you can do outreach, where you can meet people and connect with people that we've already made contact with, that are maybe kind of on the fringes of the community and maybe just need that nudge to come to one more party, come to one more event, and come to a Bible study where we can hopefully get them plugged in and eventually get them start attending church and being a full member of the community. So so we want you to encourage the believers there and do outreach, do evangelism. And, at the end of the day, if you make one new friend on this trip, whether that's someone from the church or it's a new contact we make during street evangelism, or it's someone who comes to a party that's kind of been, like I said, on the fringes of our community, if you could deepen a connection with one person and turn that into someone that you text a couple times a week, maybe send devotions to, check in with, maybe call once, twice a month, that would be an amazing ministry for you. And doing this year after year will really go a long way to building our community. So that said, I want to go over a couple of expectations that I think will be very helpful going into this trip, especially given the feedback we've gotten on the other trips. One thing to keep in mind is that this is not like a mission to Haiti where you're building houses, or going to Tijuana to work in an orphanage. Those missions are fantastic, but here it's a little different. We're doing very relational work. We're trying to build community, and we're kind of starting from scratch. So I was telling Bob about this. Like, we have to look at all of these missions trips as laying a brick, 2 bricks, 3 bricks in the foundation of this house we're trying to build. And The mistake would be to judge the bricks on their own. So to judge this trip on its own, think, oh man, we weren't busy every day. We didn't do a lot of work every day. You know, we had some things that were like very, very intense, very good spiritually, and other days weren't so good. That's a mistake. We have to think of that brick as going into the foundation, and bit by bit, we're going to build this house, and which, Lord willing, will be a very dynamic community that will look back in 5, 10, 15 years and think, wow, we reached a lot of students there. And so these trips are really important because they push our work forward. By having you guys here creates occasions to do more outreach, bring more people into the fold, have that one more conversation that maybe someone in our group needs to just be pushed that one step forward and to hear the gospel maybe in a different light from you, or to be pushed to, oh, all these Americans are here and I've been thinking about going to church. I've been going to the Bible study, and because they're all here, they're all going to be at church on Sunday, I'm going to join them. So that might be the push that you give to someone. And I look at that, boom, that's another brick in the foundation. Now that person has come to church and they're one step further into like really being woven into the fabric of our community and our church here. So don't judge the trips on their own, and really don't judge this trip on how much you personally do. Don't put a lot of expectations on yourself to do a lot. Just be present with the program that we have for the week. Just being there, walking the streets with us and going to evangelize it, going to parties that we do, going to an English class. Even if you're there with 3 people teaching one student, you don't talk that much. You feel like, oh man, why wasn't I there? But just being present there could mean a lot to that student that you're doing the English class with. So don't judge this trip on how much you do personally. Just show up spiritually. And when you have free time on the trip, use that time well to read your Bible and journal and pray, or just walk the city with friends on the trip, enjoy the town, and maybe you'll get to meet someone new and they'll be excited to hear about what you're doing, and you'll have a great opportunity to share the gospel. So I hope that's helpful. Again, I'm going to try to rephrase all of this. The main point of these trips is to encourage the church that's here, encourage the believers that are here, do some outreach and some evangelism, with the scope of slowly building a community here amongst the students. So again, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you guys for signing up for this trip. And I will see you all in October, and we'll know so much more. In October, I'll go over a day-to-day, or at least a preliminary day-to-day of what the trip is going to look like. But we're very excited. One thing I can promise you is that there will be a Thanksgiving party. And a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, there was an epic Thanksgiving party. So we're going to have to top it for this one. And I can promise you that. And I can promise you that there will be some kind of dance party at the church at least once. So those things I will promise you. We'll give you the real day-to-day once we know in October. So God bless you guys, and thanks so much for signing on this trip. I am very excited to meet you all.